What's going on, family? It's David here, D-Ray, and this is Light Power. Shine so someone can see you. In this video, we want to be discussing the understanding that correlates with the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the personal understanding that I've been able to develop over a couple years of reading literature, watching videos, and just digesting higher ways of understanding life. Now I'm taking this upon myself to condense this information and also associate it with some different examples so you can actually see and discern for yourself when you're understanding the conscious and subconscious behaviors of external things. All that to say is to say, when you understand how to identify the conscious and subconscious aspects of life outside of you, it makes it 10 times easier to come to an awareness of those same principles inside of you. So let's go ahead and get started. So to get started, first we want to lay some foundation. Let's talk about duality, which is the polar opposites that we experience. You have the North Pole, you have the South Pole, you have hot, you have cold, we have good, we have bad, we got the left hand, we got the right hand. Even in the brain, the mind or the brain has two hemispheres, has a left side hemisphere and a right hemisphere. The left hemisphere reflects the logical aspect of the mind and controls the right hand side of the body. The right hemisphere in the mind controls the left hand side of the body, and that's actually creativity, intuition, and the left hand side, like I mentioned, is logic or analysis in that sense. So when we understand that everything in the world got these two polar opposites, there's balance amongst all the things that we experience, then we want to understand that balance a little bit further. So now let's come into the mind and start understanding the mind. So the mind would actually be the brain in operation. So we just actually understood the brain, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. But when we talk about the mind, which is both hemispheres in action, we come to conscious and subconscious. So to explain this, the first thing I want to explain is, okay, so I'm just going to break down the conscious mind and then we'll go into the examples. So the mind in the conscious form is me conceptualizing thoughts to share with you, speaking, writing. The conscious mind is, or you could use another term like the action taker or the decision. These aspects of ourselves is more so conscious because it involves deliberate action. And that's how you can pretty much see the conscious aspect of ourselves. So now the subconscious aspect of ourselves, just to give you the understanding, it's the belief system, it's the habits, it's the way of thinking or how you've organized your mental factory. Those are subconscious reflections, and the reason for that is because you can't make a decision that doesn't correlate with your belief system. What I'm saying is, if you believe deep down in your heart that rich people are rude, they're thieves, they're vagabonds, they're just, you know what I'm saying, they're ruthless. If you have those type of ideals in mind, then those thoughts and those beliefs in arranged that they are and in the arranged way that they're in is going to more so hinder you from anything that conceptualizes riches, because your belief will say, but rich people always steal from the poor people, or rich people always do this or do that. So you're not going to be able to create a conscious effort pertaining to this particular belief because you've installed a limiting belief. And that's just how to show what the subconscious can allow or not allow. If you want to become a dancer and your entire life you've been demoralized by your friends, family, peers, and they've never appreciated your dance moves, you could believe that. And once you inherit it, it goes inside of your heart and you absorb that frequency, you're going to actually cause yourself not to dance. Because that limiting belief that's resonating inside of your subconscious is going to say, yeah, but the last time I danced, they didn't like me. Yeah, but nobody really thinks I look good when I dance. But it doesn't normally make people feel, so you're going to be trapped by the limiting belief that you've imposed within the subconscious. So these two things work hand in hand. You can't actually separate them. unless you're observing them, of course, but they work hand in hand. So if you want to observe somebody and you see the way that they move, the way that they behave, and they're doing things that you've never thought about doing, you have to understand that they might have a belief that you don't have that's supportive to them, to what they're doing, to how they want it to express in the world. So that's just a breakdown quickly of how the subconscious and conscious hold hands. Now let me go ahead and explain how the subconscious could be interpreted in another setting so that you can have a better clarity on the same concept. So for example, imagine a farmer, right? Farmer's job is to prepare and service the whole town, the whole community, the culture with food. So it's his responsibility to, well, in this sense, it's his responsibility to nurture and cultivate food. So what's he going to do? Well, he's going to go grab his seed. You know what I'm saying? He's going to go to his yard or wherever his environment is. He's going to find some good soil. You know, he's going to check the soil, make sure it's not too dry maybe. He might see if there's other things growing in the area. He's going to take this seed and he's going to plant it. And when he plants the seed, he's going to have to come back frequently and nurture the seed and actually support the seed and actually groom the seed so that it can grow. And from its growth, it will become fruitful, and those fruits will not be sent to you and me and everybody else on the street. So to break this down, we can observe the conscious and the subconscious actions, or aspects rather, by observing his tasks and his job. So in this example, the conscious essence will be the seed, the thought, the idea, okay? And it resonates on a frequency of understanding. Like, it has to kind of be interpreted that this is what this is for. Like, this seed is going to be whatever it's going to be in the future, but that's like part of the understanding of the conscious. So now when you plant the seed, you plant it where? You plant it in the subconscious. So as in the aspect of nature, the soil is reflecting the subconscious to us in this example. And the reason for this is because the subconscious accepts, the subconscious the subconscious multiplies. So it'll take this idea or take this thought and it would do with it, you know, and then it'll bring back the result. So the same way the farmer plants a seed and has to come and nurture and water this plant, sunlight, and etc., so that it can grow and become a full like it'll grow to its full potential in a sense. There's work to be done, so he has to manage and maintain that, but he still has to put those two together. So now let me bring it back to the mind, right? If you understand that that seed is thought in a sense, then you understand what happens when we in quote unquote prayer, and prayer in any sense, whichever way you like it, whether you like to speak affirmations in the mirror, whether you like to pray to Jesus, whether you like to do whichever way you want to, you need to understand what you are doing so that you can teach it well to your children, and you don't have to tell them hearsay or tell them that's how it is. You should be able to explain everything that you believe. So if not, then you're most likely buying somebody else's idea and you probably pay too much for it. But either way, now when we understand that thought is similar to the seed, the subconscious accepts thought. So that's a purpose of prayer. Prayer is prayer is essentially instilling thought within the subconscious. But I know we're talking about it like it's separate, but it's really your heart. So why would you pray about a person in your family who you want to feel or to get better? You would be praying with the idea that they would feel the same feeling of goodness that you are longing for them to have. So it's more like you have to be convinced within your being. The Bible talk about praying and believing that it has been accomplished, and your Father in heaven will do it for you. Father in heaven, heaven is signifying the heavenly mind state of balanced brain. And that comes in the idea of, you know, that your subconscious is working for you. So when you pray and you believe in what you're saying, your subconscious don't have an opportunity to deny you because it is convinced. So that is the same aspect of prayer, and it correlates with that of the farmer planting the seed. He's believing that this seed, tomato seed, is going to pull up some tomatoes. Why? Because he come back every single day, he waters it every single day, he makes sure there's sun on it every single day, he makes sure he got fertilizer that's organic and healthy every single day. Whatever he's doing, he's certain. And that's exactly how we need to be when we're trying to bring in, or when we aim to bring in our ideals and our thoughts from the spiritual realm and manifest them into the physical. We have to treat that seed as certain as the farmer would be treating it, because he knows the science behind his work. So he knows that when he prays, all he has to do is believe in what he's asking for, and not asking in the sense of begging, but more so in the sense of declaring the future state to be present right now. So whatever that means to you, whether it's you want to get into school because that's the most important thing to you, or you want to balance out your family because that's the most important thing, whatever it is, be convinced by your asking that the spirit, and by the way of the laws of the universe, that your subconscious mind is going to bring forth to you exactly by what you've asked, because that's just how it works. So I didn't want to make it too spooky by adding too much of the Bible verses, because you might get lost, because that's exactly what happens to us. But when we understand it in the most plain way, you just can't get wrong. So let me jump into another example of the conscious and the subconscious so that you can get a firm grip on this. So the next one I want to use is driving. And driving is really, really similar to human life in general, because well, first, everything within is external as well. So we can see a piece of ourselves within the aspect of driving. What does it mean? Well, each car kind of looks like a face in the front. You know, each car kind of got like a face in the front. So that's like a person. Everybody needs to be driving a car, at least in this present time, before the computers start driving them. So like, your personal person has the decision on where you want to go, just like a car. The car has something called a GPS. A GPS system allows for the car to know where it is, and also in correlation to other locations on the geographical map, right? The same way the car got a GPS, you have a GPS. It's called the internal guidance system, or the intuition. So the same way a car has GPS, you have GPS. It's called intuition. Tap into it, and it'll let you know which way you need to go. It's simple. But now when we talk about the conscious aspect of the car, think about this. You're standing at you're driving, you get to this intersection, you got a left, you got a right, you can go straight. If you say, all right, let's make a left, you know, that's conscious. That's deciding. That's action oriented. That is that's like action oriented. I don't know how else to break it down. That's action oriented. So the subconscious aspect of the car, right? Just imagine this. You want to go to a healthy plant-based restaurant, and it's like 10 miles away from your house. That's what Google says, right? You search it up on a computer. 10 miles away from your house. How do you get there, though? Well, you have to use this road. You have to get on this highway. And you have to make a left on this street. So the subconscious aspects of driving is the road. How can you go somewhere where there's no road to guide you there? You're most likely not going to get there, or you're going to park and walk. You know what I'm saying? So with that understood, it correlates the same way to thinking about, let's say you want to become a doctor. And like the subconscious implications of becoming a doctor means that you kind of have to go through this system and understand this degree, this master's, that master's, whatever. So like the subconscious is the roadmap to where you want to go consciously. So in the sense of driving to this location, this plant-based restaurant, you're not going to be able to get there if there's no road for that location. If there's no guidance towards that location, if that location isn't firm or cemented somewhere, you just can't get there. I'm not sure if that the car example is as good as the farmer's example, but it is the same thing, because when you understand that within your being, if I want to live my true potential, if I want to live open-heartedly and transparently, then I'm going to need to do X, Y, and Z, right? But then if you have a subconscious belief that says, I don't want people to know who I really am, you know, how easy is that going to be to keep that and also be transparent? See, now you have the opportunity to observe a limiting belief, which resides in the subconscious. But the moment that you say, okay, I don't mind for people to know who I truly am, and you accept that new belief, then it becomes so much easier to become transparent and open-hearted. You get what I'm saying? So with the understanding of the conscious and the subconscious, we can also look and see that how you treat the subconscious affects what you're able to do consciously. And how I treat my subconscious on a regular basis, I encourage myself, I inspire myself, I give myself the opportunity to learn every day. I've installed a belief system that loves learning, so I don't get tired of learning. Because actually, if you take a zoom out and you think about like our normal educational system, when you work with the state and the system, it's more like read this book, figure this out, answer these problems, but then there's no like real connection to the information. So then over time it grows a habit of, I don't like information, or I don't like learning. But it's not that you don't like learning, it's that you don't like or don't appreciate learning from the sense by which you've been taught. When learning becomes fun again, it's more like you become a child again within yourself. And I know I'm kind of like moving off on a tangent right now, but I'm saying this to explain that how you treat your subconscious mind is how you're going to live consciously. So if you think that everything that you were taught when you're growing up is what it is, and that's how you're going to take it, then it might not be weird for you to do some things that you used to do that are not good for you, because you've never questioned. You've never questioned the beliefs that you have. It's going to be nearly impossible to do anything new. It's the same way with the car on the road. If you don't have a road, or if you don't have a new map, how are you going to navigate? You're probably just not going to move far. You're going to stand still, or just not move at all. So I just wanted to break down a couple of different ways of seeing conscious and subconscious life in general. Because when you do this, you allow for yourself to become more aware of yourself, thus giving you more options to be who you need to be for your legacy, for your long-standing name, or whatever you want to look at, however you want to feel about it. Your spiritual work, your purpose accomplished, everything correlates with how your subconscious is being taken care of or not. Just to give y'all some personal experience, I always use this example. One period of time in my life, I was in a relationship, and I was projecting a lot of my personal beliefs into my relationship. Like, no, don't do that because I don't do that. Just stuff like that. And I realized it's one thing to guide somebody, but you can only guide somebody towards where they want to go. That's kind of like help. The word help is a weird word because it's subjective to the thinker. I don't know how somebody can help me right now, but somebody who thinks I need help might be like, yo, I know my uncle works, he has a vegan restaurant, he needs some waiters. You need a job? That's not what I need for help. So from their perspective and my perspective, there are two different types of help that's being given or needed, in a sense. I don't even know why I was saying that. But to wrap this video up, understand the conscious and the subconscious essence of life in general. I got another example just came to me. So think about writing, right? Most times we write, we write whatever we need to write, notes, whatever it is. But how often do we take attention towards the page? How much time do we understand? How many times do we understand what it takes to make a thin sheet of paper? How many people know how to make a thin sheet of paper? Not many. But I'm telling you, everybody got some handwriting to talk about. You see what I'm saying? That's just it. That's just it. The awareness of conscious behavior and the lack of awareness towards subconscious behavior. It's kind of like neglect. If you want me to be real, it's kind of like neglect. When we understand that females also represent the subconscious mind, then we can think and understand why we don't understand females enough. But that's not because they're hard to understand, but it's because we're too busy focusing on conscious things that we're neglecting the essence of the subconscious. Just think about that. Understand that substance, sub meaning under, subconscious, sub meaning under, underneath the conscious behavior, underneath the conscious action, the conscious thinking, what is there? Same way we're writing. We'll write, but we don't think about the understanding of what it takes to make a page. A white sheet of paper. They say it comes from trees, but what's the process? You know anything about it? Probably not. That's the same neglect that we've shown towards our subconscious. We just out here living, but we don't know how our behavior, how our thoughts, and how our words affect our beliefs. So important. So important. If you liked or appreciated this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. It's really helpful for me to know which videos click and which ones don't by looking at that. So go ahead and hit that like button. Also, hit that love and subscribe button. I know you like this content. I know you like this knowledge. So let's continue growing together. Hit that love and subscribe button. Outside of that, drop a comment down below of any ways that you can observe the conscious and the subconscious mind from outside your body, meaning that it's external. Sometimes it's not too good to be external all the time, but in most cases, it's good for learning. And I have to put it like that because the only power that you're going to really tap into is your own. You can't go nowhere and find power there that's not inside of you already. It starts with you. So with that being said, family, take some time out today to understand your conscious and your subconscious mind. If you don't have no ways of doing that, just start by observing yourself. That would be the first step. Observe yourself. Observe what you do every day. Observe what you eat every day. Observe what you talk about, who you talk to, and see yourself. Get a taste of your own view. Like let some circumstances happen and see how you react. Like, are you the first person to get upset? Are you going to get mad, or are you going to start thinking of solutions? Check yourself. When you do this, you get the power to recorrect yourself. With that being said, family, I love y'all. I love y'all, for real. I'm working on myself at this very moment to give more than I've ever been able to receive. That's just a little secret about me. Outside of that, so the second thing, after observing yourself, meditate. Meditation is one of my keys. I'll probably never give it away for free. I might print one for you for free though, but I can't stop meditating. I just can't stop. I'm a meditator. It's weird, but I'm a meditator because I know, like, when I start my day and it's 9 o'clock and I'm about to like drive a relative somewhere and I got some phone calls and people texting me and Instagram's blowing up, I don't know what I want to do that day. I'm just doing what needs to be done that day. But when I meditate before the day, when I meditate before I leave my room, when I spend 20 minutes by myself just focusing on my breath and watching my thoughts circulate and sort themselves out, that day just shoot by, like busting out the goals. Pow! Next. Like, it's crazy weird, but it's something that I deeply suggest that you give it a shot, give it a try, see how you feel about it. If you have any questions on how to meditate or the procedure that I do, hit me up on Instagram at LightPower. Send me a DM. I'm always responding. If not during the day, definitely at night, because sometimes we having a lot of DMs. But either way, family, I love y'all. I just wanted to tap in. And what's one way you can shine your light today? This is me shining mine. With that being said, I'll talk to you again next time. Peace.